Some photos don't just show history, they feel like it. Faces caught in disaster, courage, and moments no one expected to live through. These images remind us what words often can't, how fragile and powerful human life really is. After the eruption of the Nevado del Ruiz volcano, 13-year-old Omaira Sanchez was trapped in volcanic mud for nearly 3 days. Rescuers lacked the tools to free her. Her composure and courage during televised coverage sparked international criticism of disaster preparedness and relief policy. An 18-year-old Russian prisoner moments after liberation from Dachau concentration camp. Her face records both physical exhaustion and the shock of survival, a visual document of the human cost of Nazi imprisonment. Photographed on Thailand's coast as tourists fled the first wall of water. The Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami killed over 220,000 people across 14 countries, exposing weaknesses in global early warning systems. Nadia and Bassem Choucair, their children, and Nadia's mother, were among 72 people who died in London's Grenfell Tower fire. The tragedy led to public inquiries into unsafe cladding and urban housing inequality. Likely the final photograph of the Frank sisters before arrest. Anne's later diary transformed from a private record into a universal testament of persecution under Nazi rule. First, Lady Jacqueline Kennedy at the casket of President John F. Kennedy. Her quiet composure reinforced an image of national dignity amid sudden political trauma. Abandoned cars belonging to 9/11 victims remained parked for days. The image condensed national tragedy into a silent tableau of ordinary life interrupted. Rescued from confinement after 25 years, locked in her mother's house for defying social expectations. Her case fueled debate in France about mental health, women's autonomy, and family control. A police officer comforts a young girl beside the site of her father's fatal accident. Photojournalists later cited it as an example of empathy captured in real time. 18-year-old Dalen Pua photographed himself on the forbidden Haiku Stairs trail before disappearing. The case remains unresolved, emblematic of the risks of adventure tourism in restricted terrain. Actor Melora Rivera sought refuge on her roof as a home intruder followed. The image, circulated by local news, illustrates both vulnerability and the split-second decisions of urban crime victims. Medical student Brian Schaffer vanished inside an Ohio bar. Security footage recorded his entry, but not his exit, creating one of America's most perplexing missing person cases of the digital era. 2 construction workers posed with the Twin Towers on the morning of September 11th. Hours later, both towers collapsed, a coincidence that turned an ordinary snapshot into historical evidence. Photograph taken from the B-29 bomber immediately after releasing the atomic bomb. Approximately 80,000 people died instantly. The image documents the moment warfare entered the nuclear age. The shuttle lifted off from Cape Canaveral and exploded 73 seconds later. All 7 astronauts, including teacher Krista McAuliffe, were killed. The disaster reshaped NASA's safety and testing protocols. Portrait of a woman whose feet were bound since childhood. The practice, banned in 1912, symbolized centuries of gendered beauty standards and social control. A photograph recovered decades later from Johnson's lost camera shows her final expedition. It provides rare visual evidence of the extreme conditions on South America's highest peak. A ruptured storage tank released over 2 million gallons of molasses, killing 21 people. The event prompted new industrial safety laws and remains a case study in urban disaster engineering. In Dundee, Barry Delaney honored a promise to wear a bright green dress at his friend's military funeral. The photograph captured personal loyalty amid the public ritual of remembrance. World War II veteran Golimbievsky, who lost both legs, is saluted by naval cadets. The image juxtaposes sacrifice and continuity, the living acknowledging the cost of their peace. Marcy Borders escaped the collapse of the World Trade Center's South Tower and was photographed moments later, covered in gray dust. The image became one of the most iconic representations of the 9/11 aftermath, symbolizing survival amid overwhelming destruction. The silhouette of a person permanently etched into stone by the atomic blast over Hiroshima. It remains a stark scientific and moral reminder of radiation's instantaneous power and the fragility of human life. Marie Curie's remains rest in the Pantheon, sealed within a lead-lined coffin due to their ongoing radioactivity. Her scientific legacy and the literal radiance of her discoveries endure beyond her lifetime. The eldest of the Kennedy brothers photographed before his final flight. His plane exploded during a secret mission in World War II, ending what many believed would have been a political career to rival his brother John's. An ER doctor stands outside a hospital, quietly crying for a 19-year-old patient he could not save. The image captures the unseen emotional cost of emergency medicine. A rare clandestine photo of Stalin inside the Kremlin upon learning that German forces were about to capture Kiev. His expression reflected the enormity of the Soviet Union's coming losses, over 27 million lives before the war's end. American student Otto Warmbier was detained in North Korea for allegedly stealing a propaganda poster. Released in a coma after 17 months, he died soon after returning home. His case exposed the regime's brutal treatment of foreign detainees. A single man stands before a receding wave moments before being engulfed by a tsunami in Hawaii. The photograph serves as an early visual record of the Pacific's volatile seismic activity. Anne Frank's father, Otto, returns to their Amsterdam hiding place after the war. As the family's sole survivor, his visit embodies both remembrance and the endurance of testimony. Paralyzed by polio since childhood, Diane Odell lived inside an iron lung for nearly 60 years. She died when a power failure disabled the machine, underscoring dependence on fragile technology for survival. Photographed by Alfred Eisenstadt, Goebbels glares at the Jewish photographer moments after learning his identity. The portrait became an unintentional study in hatred and ideological paranoia. Serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer pictured unconscious after drinking heavily. The image circulated widely after his arrest, contrasting his quiet appearance with the scale of his crimes. Kemper laughs as police struggle to unlock his handcuffs after confessing to multiple murders. His cooperation and detached humor made him one of the most psychologically studied criminals of the century. A casual photograph captured Bundy inside his Volkswagen Beetle, unaware he was being documented while hunting for victims. The image later became crucial evidence in tracing his movements. One of the earliest patients to undergo skin graft surgery after suffering facial disfigurement in World War I. His recovery marked a turning point in reconstructive medicine pioneered by surgeon Harold Gillies. Taken 15 minutes after detonation, this image shows the massive atomic cloud over Nagasaki. It represents the closing act of World War II and the devastating efficiency of nuclear warfare. Photographer Michael Schwartz captured Tom Fox's final moments as he succumbed to AIDS. Surrounded by family, the image personalized the epidemic and challenged public stigma around the disease. Emaciated British soldiers after liberation from a Japanese camp. Their condition reflected the extreme deprivation endured by Allied prisoners throughout the Pacific War. An Albanian father mourns separation from his children during the Kosovo conflict. Years later, he was reunited with them, turning a symbol of grief into one of survival. Dust and wreckage from the Twin Towers blanket a cemetery in New York. The juxtaposition of graves and debris visually merged past and present tragedy into one image. Captured during the Nuremberg trials, several Nazi war criminals are seen laughing after a translation error. The photograph contrasts the gravity of their crimes with the unsettling levity of the moment. A U.S. aircraft releases napalm during a bombing run in South Vietnam. The image epitomizes the brutality of modern warfare and the devastating impact of chemical weapons on both soldiers and civilians. An installation at the Harold Washington Library features over 58,000 dog tags, each representing an American soldier killed in Vietnam. The exhibit transforms raw data into a tangible experience of loss. Photographed by Franz Geik, a captured Russian soldier meets the gaze of SS leader Heinrich Himmler. The image captures a fleeting moment between victim and orchestrator within the machinery of Nazi power. A U.S. Marine offers a cigarette to a wounded Japanese soldier buried in sand. The act, amid carnage, reveals a momentary recognition of shared humanity across enemy lines. A Japanese aircraft plummets toward an American ship in its final kamikaze attack. The photograph freezes the intersection of faith, nationalism, and sacrifice that defined Japan's wartime ideology. This post-war image shows the back of a Japanese man scarred by the Hiroshima blast. His wounds serve as a living archive of radiation's long-term effects on the human body. Photographer Robert Hodierne documented American troops setting fire to a Vietnamese village after losing a comrade to a booby trap. The image exposes the psychological toll of revenge and moral fatigue in prolonged conflict. 14-month-old Chana Youth Nimanong was the sole survivor of a crash in Phnom Penh. Rescuers lifted him from the wreckage, a rare story of life emerging from total devastation. Afflicted by locked-in syndrome, Martin Pistorius regained consciousness after 12 years trapped in silence. His experience expanded understanding of cognitive awareness in vegetative states. Taken hours before the Mount St. Helens eruption, this photo shows Johnston at his observation post. His final transmission, "This is it," was received moments before the blast reached his station. Ann Hodges became the only confirmed person struck by a meteorite. The event in Sylacauga, Alabama, remains a singular incident in the recorded history of space debris encounters. A U.S. Army B-25 bomber accidentally struck the Empire State Building in fog. The impact killed 14 and highlighted the risks of aviation in dense urban environments. 17-year-old Corporal Yukio Araki, shown holding a puppy, was Japan's youngest kamikaze pilot. He died during a suicide mission only days before Japan's surrender. An 8-year-old boy's tomb features a small window, installed per his wish not to be buried in darkness. The grave became a symbol of Victorian attitudes toward death and the afterlife. The families of Challenger astronauts, including teacher Krista McAuliffe's relatives, react as the shuttle disintegrates. Their anguish, captured live, personalized a national tragedy viewed by millions. Senad Madanovic stands where his family's remains lie after the Bosnian War. The photograph humanizes the aftermath of ethnic cleansing and the struggle for justice in post-war Yugoslavia. Aerial photographs taken a year after the bombing show Hiroshima flattened. The images helped scientists and policymakers assess long-term nuclear and urban recovery effects. This rare photograph captures one of the most violent eruptions in modern history. The blast reshaped global weather patterns and remains a benchmark event in volcanology. Workers discovered a molten mass of radioactive material under Reactor 4, later nicknamed the Elephant's Foot. Even minutes of exposure to it could prove fatal, making it a symbol of uncontrolled nuclear energy.